Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer weiteren Folge Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Und wir sind immer noch in der Kampagne in der Story von Kaori Yuihara und sind jetzt in Recollections von Keith Rothman. Keith Rothman, an officer known for his silver tongue, finds himself tasked with training a new and somewhat suspicious recruit named Kaori Yuihara. Also da bin ich gespannt, was es mit den beiden insgesamt noch auf sich hat. Tokyo Mao Ward Bureau of Justice, Mikado System Personal Assignment. Assigned Bureau of Justice, assigned Post Paranormal Disciplinary Division Officer Rank None. Name Kaori Yuihara. Classification Whisperer. Fire Affinity. Special Notes. Okay, interessant.
I still remember when I first met her. I was at a loss for words. Something that almost never happens to me. I can run circles around people with my words, but in front of her, I was clumsy, tongue-tied. She seemed to give off a faint yet warm glow, like a ray of sunlight imbued her very being. I felt vulnerable, restless.
Hat er sich tatsächlich in sie verknallt?
Starting today, a new member will be joining the Bureau of Justice's Paranormal Disciplinary Division. Her name is Kaori Yuihara. Go ahead, introduce yourself. What an introduction. Apologies, Keith. She can be a bit temperamental at times.
Deacon Shinobi, who is that?
I thought it patently obvious. That is your new rookie. It has been a while. Did you not receive the data I sent?
Yeah, I got it all here. Her address, name, age, bio ID, bank account number, even her medical history. The data is too complete. Don't you think so, Deacon?
Yes, well, most people do try to keep certain aspects more confidential. In her case, however, she submitted all of this data voluntarily. She is either honest to a fault, or
a bold-faced liar.
To be honest with you, I am not privy to the details either. I have my personal theories, but no evidence to back them up.
Give me a break. And you're telling me she wields fire? You can use all 6 elements, so you ought to know better than anyone. Our elements are the worst possible pairing.
Now, give it a try. Are human interactions not your specialty, Keith Rothman?
Interessant.
I wonder. I've always had a way with words, and dealing with people was right up my alley. I put my talents to use running a fake digital investment scheme. Built my fortune with it when I was 7 years old, if I remember right.
Okay.
The conversation's like an old box in a basement. You sift through the useless trinkets and toys until you find the good stuff. What the other person is really trying to say. Most of the folks crying that they need more money, all they really want is some recognition. I figured out this simple truth when I was 7. I used my talents to milk this scheme for all it was worth, spreading it across the net. Thanks to that, some poor fool was retrieved instead. They took the fall because of me. But I couldn't live with that, so I turned myself into the ministry. I was guilty of hundreds of crimes. I was sure I would get convicted for something. But thanks to a certain someone, I was shown leniency. A suspended sentence for 89 years.
89 years, boah.
Use your powers for justice. As long as you stay on the right path, I am certain you will save this city.
The point is, if it wasn't for that intervention, I wouldn't have been in the position of using my talent to try and break the ice with a challenging coworker. Yuihara wasn't very talkative. She would answer me with one-word retorts, and that was it. If you told me she'd never talked with another person in her life, I'd have believed you. At first, I just assumed that was the kind of person she was. Not an ideal personality, but easy enough to deal with. Most of the time, it's not that the quiet ones don't talk. They can't talk, because they weren't thinking of anything to begin with. So if I got on her good side and got through to that empty head, I'd be able to break the ice between us. Or so I thought.
Get out of my sight.
When I saw her flames for the first time, my jaw dropped. They burned with an intensity beyond anything I'd ever seen. She must have been on par with a Nyuta-class Archmage, or even better. As I felt the heat scorch the air around us, I understood that peculiar warm glow I felt from her when we first met. It was a raging flame, blazing within her, constantly on the verge of engulfing everything in its path. Damn, you're really something. You don't see that kind of firepower every day. Where'd you learn to do magic like that?
Oops.
None of your business. Not like these flames are worth a damn anyway. I'm just here to do my job. So you do yours.
Ist verdammt gut in
After
Social
that day, I
Engineering.
went out of my way to talk to Uehara even more. I had two reasons. First, I was sure that she'd be a great combat asset. In all my days in Tokyo, I'd never seen flames that burned so bright. Second, I was curious. Just what was going on behind her taciturn facade. I couldn't stop thinking about her. She responded to my attempts with silence, but I didn't mind. Before we clocked in, while we were on patrol, after the sun set on another working day, I never stopped trying. I ended up doing a background check on her, as if she was a suspect. Studied her movements and what she was searching on the net. I discovered two things. First, her past on file was full of fabrications. Second, she had searched for data on a certain robbery. Looking back on it, maybe I had gone a bit crazy. We continued the same routine, until one day.
You gotta believe me, Keith. They're the ones who got my family hooked on digital drugs. I couldn't just let them get away with it.
I've already finished investigating that.
So does that mean?
For every sin, a just retribution. You shall atone as others have. In the name of truth, I administer judgment upon you. Hey, just finished up here. Let's get back to the ministry.
That phrase of yours. Just retribution? What do you mean by that?
I was taken by surprise. After all, it was the first time Uehara had ever started a conversation with me. I observed her. Her expression, her gestures, and her words. Clearly, something I did rubbed her the wrong way. It felt like a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get to know her better. So I took it. Now this is unusual. Didn't think you'd ever show interest in another person. Or is this your way of saying you finally recognize me as your partner? I wanted to see how she would react, so I tried to stir the pot. But...
Cut the act.
what act?
I said, quit it. Stop trying to get me riled up on purpose. You already did a bang-up job without even trying. But you knew that, didn't you?
This time, it wasn't surprise I felt. It was my blood running cold. I instinctively knew what she was hinting at. She wasn't quiet because she was slow, or because her mind was devoid of thought.
Keith Rothman, I know all about you. District 8, Nibibashi, Mao Ward. 91st Tower Residence, room 714. Pretty fancy for a bachelor. At the tender age of 7, your name appeared in a revelation for the crime of running electronic transaction scams. But the case was tossed due to lack of evidence. The investigating officer at the time was Deacon Shinobi. You had a guilty conscience, so you tried to make up for it by atoning and using your talents for good. Too bad those talents of yours don't work so well on me.
She was quiet because she didn't need to talk. because she had reached her own conclusions already. My real address, the one I hadn't even told the Ministry about, my past with Deacon Shinobi, Uehara had all the dirt she could want on me. You've done your research, eh?
I don't play around with my words like you do. I say things when I need to say them. If this talk was a gunfight, then you'd be long dead, Keith Rothman.
Guess that means we can finally be candid with each other.
To know about that, you're still hiding something. Like that power of yours.
So you know about that too. Just what kind of partner did I get assigned with?
Forget it. What I want to know is what you meant by just retribution. You're blessed with the gift of gab, right? Then talk me through a hypothetical. Let's say you're given a revelation tomorrow. It asks you to execute a murder suspect. I'm that suspect. I've killed 100,000 civilians. What would count as just retribution in your books? What would you, as judge, jury, and executioner, decree? Go on. Tell me.
Oh, das ist geil.
Her example was far-fetched, almost ludicrous. But in Uehara's words, I could sense genuine anger. So I made up my mind. I would respond to her question head-on. You said you killed 100,000 civilians. If those are the facts, then I'd search for the truth.
What?
Did you kill 100,000 people for your own pleasure? Or did you have some separate motive? I would need to understand your motive first. It's only after that I could decide on an appropriate sentence.
What meaning is there in this truth you're going on about? The fact is, I killed 100,000 living, breathing people. No matter what truth might lie behind the murders, I can't go consequence-free.
Sure, but that's only if massacring that many people was your choice. Accidents, negligence, mental instability. There are plenty of reasons why the blame might lie beyond that person. I would search for your truth. And if I discovered that you were indeed responsible for the massacre, I would hunt you down. But let's say that you did have a compelling motive to commit this crime. That there was a hidden truth to your actions. In that case, I would want to stand by you, even if no one else would.
This is pointless. What do you know about me? All you know is how to manipulate people with that silver tongue of yours.
Well, I could tell that Uehara was losing her patience. Normally, I'd have stepped back and shut my mouth at this point. But that day was different. For the first time in forever, I spoke my mind freely, without paying heed to any consequences. I gave her my honest answer. I do know one thing. You have a warm heart. I mean it. It was clumsy. There weren't enough words, enough thought put into it. I simply let the feelings deep within me flow out.
Huh?
Hold on. Let me rephrase that.
That's it? That's your reason? Funny. Someone I used to know said something similar. They were a real fool. And it looks like you are too, Keith Rothman.
From that day on, Uehara and I started taking on more jobs together. She would pass judgment first and figure out the method after. I would glean the truth from the evidence first. We were complete opposites, but we worked surprisingly well together. Whirlwind Genji, the Murmurers, the House of Miracles hoax.
Okay, das ist ganz schön viel, was auf einmal... Whirlwind Genji, a scavenger who made his name as an outstanding master of the craft. One day Genji went missing, and now his younger sister has taken up the title. Though not as prodigious as her brother, the new Genji is more than capable when it comes to close quarters combat. in stealth operations. She is able to control wind with her whisperer powers. Murmurers. Though the name implies a group, the Murmurers is actually the title of a single female scavenger. Her entire body has been replaced with cybernetics, and she hides a whole arsenal of weaponry within her robotic body. The plural form of her title likely comes from the fact that every fight she is involved in leaves behind destruction equivalent to that of a large-scale group combat. Oha. House of Miracle Hoax, a scavenger with only low-level whisperer powers. They made a name for themselves by claiming the powers to be miracles and selling their services as a holy man. Though they claim to lead wayward spirits to tranquility, in reality they are simply a con artist looking to make some quick cash.
As the two of us continued to retrieve criminal after criminal, the folks at the ministry gave us a nickname. We were the Bureau of Justice's frozen blaze. I wasn't sure how to feel about standing out, but being recognized like that didn't feel too bad. I was more captivated with Uehara than ever. She was far more clever, and far more lacking in communication skills than I imagined. She would never explain herself. Add that to her demeanor, and it's no surprise that the very citizens she was supposed to protect feared her. But there were good things about her too. Despite her indifferent exterior, she could get a good joke. She wouldn't laugh out loud, but there were times I saw her smile. And though she probably didn't notice it herself, she would become nicer when speaking to girls younger than her.
Aww.
I wonder if she had a sister or something. I wonder if she would have answered me even if I asked. I wanted to know. How did she grow up? What were her dreams? That's when I finally realized what the warmth I felt when we first met really was.
War tatsächlich in sie verknallt.
Basically, it was, well, you know, it was love at first sight.
Hat sich wirklich in sie verknallt.
I wasn't a teenager anymore. There was no chance that I would ever reveal those feelings. We were co-workers, and I planned to keep it that way. And so I hid those feelings away. There was no way for Uehara and I to be together. That's what I thought. I stopped observing her movements. I didn't want to treat her like another suspect to profile. But even then, I noticed she was looking up more things on the net. I told myself it didn't matter. One day she'll smile at me and open the lid on all these secrets. I told myself that so many times I started to truly believe it. Looking back now, it wasn't that I trusted her. Rather, I was blinded by love. Hey, out for a stroll at this hour?
Keith.
I saw you on the Mirios footage. You took quite the detour. Or did you want to be seen? To lead me here?
I found myself a new place. It's in that district with those real liquor bars you talked about. What's wrong? You're not gonna laugh like you always do?
Not in the mood for it, I guess.
Why is that?
I know you're leaving the ministry. I know something happened in your past, before you came to the ministry. I know there's something powerful driving you. This day was going to come eventually. It had to. But even knowing that, I tried to ignore my gut and look the other way. Still, I want to help you. I want you to rely on me.
Keith, what are you to me?
There was only one answer to her question. But that one answer was something I couldn't bring myself to say. And so, I answered with my head instead of my heart. It's a bad habit of mine. I know that now. Your partner at the Mal Ward Bureau of Justice Paranormal Disciplinary Division.
That's so.
Uehara!
Then while we're being honest, I've never thought of you as my partner. Not once. Your ice can't snuff out the pathetic flames smoldering inside me. You and I aren't meant to be. Got it? So stop following me. Goodbye, Keith. Working with you wasn't so bad.
I was too young back then. I didn't chase after her. I couldn't. If I could go back now, I would use my authority as a paranormal disciplinary division officer and drag the deserter Kauta Uehara straight back with me. But to my young and naive self, the woman who turned her back on me wasn't a deserter. Not even close. And that's the story of how my first love ended before it even began.
Mawa Tokyo. 3:10 p.m.
And here I am now, chasing after Uehara. I was young back then. Now things are different. I know what I have to do. No matter what lies in wait, I'll see this through. Uehara, I'll find your truth.
Interessant. Sehr interessant. Aber ich würde sagen, an dem Punkt beende ich jetzt diese Folge. Das nächste Mal geht es dann hier weiter. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.